Good day, good day, good day, everyone. How are you on this blistering day? So before we get into anything, I just want to throw out there from my own most recent, um, I'll call it a dilemma, but please stay hydrated, stay safe, stay cool. I guess a good part of the country is under a heat wave. So please stay safe. I sadly um, was thinking I was staying safe and yet didn't hydrate appropriately when I went out last night at 6 o'clock. Went out and played some hardcore pickleball and landed up kind of not heat stroke anywhere near that, but it was getting close and I could feel it all over my body. So definitely just be very careful and take all the precautions that you can. All right. I needed to throw that out there. So welcome to Power Hour Coaching. I'm Bernadette Boas of Ball of Fire Coaching, and we help to ignite the leadership fire that is within each and every one of you. And in doing so, you just become the powerhouse leaders you're meant to be to create the riches in your work and life that you have always wanted. So our weekly, every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Power Hour Coaching is meant to give you an opportunity to get the support that you need, whether it's about your career, it's about your business, it's about your life in some way, shape, or form, and get you the tips and the advice and sometimes tough love in order for you to be able to keep moving forward. So this is an opportunity for you to pose your question or situation that you're dealing with, and allowing me as an expert for far too many years to mention in really helping corporate and entrepreneurial leaders to excel in whatever it is that they're pursuing in their business and life. So let me help you. So again, every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you are able to post your questions while we're here live. You can post them in the comment section wherever you're seeing this. It is being broadcasted on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I am keeping an eye out for it and keeping an eye across the platforms to ensure that you're getting the visibility and the support that you need. You can also be posting your questions before or after you see the stream. Most of the questions that I get are typically coming through LinkedIn, through a private DM on LinkedIn. But at the same time, I have, my followers on Facebook, our Shift to Riches Today page, as well as even on Twitter, I get them because I always am positioning, being able to post your question or situation so I can help you. And then I just gather them up. My team does as well. Throughout the week, throughout the month, and we bring them right here. We also invite you to join me live. All you would need to do is post in the comment section that you wanted to kind of have some one-on-one coaching, and I'll send you the link while I'm sitting here live and have you join me. If not, then I'm getting with you personally and directly as soon as I either see your question or situation, or you've reached out to me via a DM. All right, so these are the questions that we're going to be tackling today, and then I'll go into a little bit more of it. But okay, so the first one is, what type of goals should I have beyond what my boss gives me? That's a great question, and every one of you should be thinking about it. What are those goals beyond, the standard business goals that are trickled down from your leaders above? What are those goals that you should have? Even personal goals within your business objectives. All right. And then the second one gets a little bit more involved. And basically it comes down to, we're back in the office. I'm so overwhelmed as a team leader. I don't know where to start getting my head together and getting organized. It feels different than when we were even remote. So we're going to get into all that. Now, let me give you an idea where kind of the approach where I come from. Being that this is coaching, I try to model coaching for you as I address these questions or situations that people share with me. So I see my role as a coach to be asking you as many questions as possible about whatever it is that you just stated to me. And I am going to dig into that question, meaning ripping it apart, really trying to understand what the underlying emotion, belief, or thought is, or feeling that you're having that you're actually also dealing with that may not, be visible or apparent to someone else. But my job as a coach is to really get down to the core of what it is that you're dealing with. And oftentimes, 99% of the time, it's not as simple as even like, what kind of goal should I have? There's a lot of other stuff underneath that question that we really want to understand. You want to understand in order for you to really be able to come up with the answers yourself, solve the problems yourself, make the decision yourself. And only with prodding and you asking will I then, kind of jump in and basically try to navigate or tell you what exactly you should be doing. Now, that's different than me giving you tips and advice and sometimes tough love. But, my job is to help you and guide you to getting the answers yourself. All right. Okay, so let's dig into this. So Amy, her question was, what type of goals should I have beyond what type of goals should I have beyond what my boss gives me? So first off, what I asked Amy and what I would have you consider is, all right, so if you are interested in having goals beyond just the standard ones that are passed down to you, and oftentimes, your boss or your HR persons would want you to be also looking at personal development goals, professional development goals, and that is awesome. That is awesome. However, I do come across a lot of not only my clients, but people who come to me and they aren't necessarily asked for that. They're just pretty much passed down the goals that their business leaders want them to be pursuing within their function, within their team, and within the business, and maybe the entire company. But you always, I don't care what position you have, what level of the organization you're in, you should always have goals beyond what they pass to you. Why? Well, aren't you looking to kind of enhance and enrich and to advance your knowledge, your skills, your leadership, your overall position, title, salary, business? So obviously you need to have goals that go outside, your standard. Now you might call them stretch goals, but I don't even consider them stretch goals. Stretch goals to me are, on top of my business metrics, I also am looking at it from a 360-degree perspective that I have these business goals around my function and my role, but I also have goals that are about me, about advancing and enriching who I am as an employee, as a leader, as a high potential, as someone who has aspirations, a year, 3, 5 years from now. And then at the same time, I also have personal goals, more so, outside the workplace. However, your outside the workplace goals also will be influenced by your work goals and vice versa. So you definitely want to be considering all of that, even as you're sitting at your desk in your work environment. All right. So first off, I wanted to understand from Amy, what were the goals that she was given? And they were just, well, there was one personal development goal, but they were pretty standard in regards to, her function and the role that she plays. So for yourself, identify, obviously you have them, but identify what are the goals that you're being passed. And obviously, you're pretty much going to have what the goal is, what the metric is, what the timeline is, what the overall expectation is. All right. So you have all of that. What is missing based on what it is that you want to achieve in the next 6 months, in the next year, in the next 3 to 5 years? What's not there that you can then include in your overall, what I call shift to rich goal plan, but your overall goals. And again, they could be about you kind of advancing in the role that you're in. It could be about you honing in on your leadership skills, hard or soft. It could be that you're looking to, outside of your role in your company, be an influencer, be a speaker, be a writer, And then beyond that is your outside interests. You might want to might want to run a marathon. You might want to get fit. You might want to gain your MBA. And so, really think about what is it you want to achieve. At the same time, who is it that you want to become? All right. Who is it that you want to become? So obviously, until that the nails are in the coffin and the coffin is nine feet under, we should always be wanting to better ourselves. And so what areas of your being, do you want to make changes to? Now, if you were like me about 12 years ago, that list would have been very, very long. And so what I would do is I would sit down and take a inventory about all aspects of your life, about what it is you want to achieve, who you want to become, what is it that you want to obtain in your life now, next year, 3 to 5 years from now, and then start like kind of peeling it back and really honing in on 1 to 3 on top of the business goals that you have. So specifically for Amy, and identify 1 to 3 goals that you could be pursuing. And I would always recommend personal development goals. And then and personal development goals, I should clarify that. I want it to be more about soft skills. In Amy's case, as she advances and elevates within her company, she needs to really hone in on her leadership skills, but I want more so the soft leadership skills. I want her to focus on empathy, compassion, communication, collaboration, engagement, skills that are outside of your traditional leadership skills that are taught. Communication's pretty traditional, but like negotiation or influencing or I'm drawing a blank, but you get the picture. So really think about, what are those 1 to 3 things beyond your business goals that you want to be focused on, and that could influence and impact the role that you're in right now. Okay. Excuse me. And so if you're scribbling that all out and it's not very, it's not very goal oriented per se, then you can always, to really ensure that you're defining a very sticky, abundance attracting, actionable goal, then you want to kind of refer to things like the SMART goal methodology. And you can always go to balloffirecoaching.com and you can go into our blog and you can find multiple interviews as well as resources when it comes to you defining your goals and the SMART methodology. I actually call our methodology SMARTY because I added the Y to it. And if you also look into on our blog for the SMARTY goal methodology, then you'll be able to see why I kind of enhanced the traditional SMART methodology. But whatever you use, just find a methodology. The SMART methodology is the most I don't even want to use the word popular. It's the most foundational. Then that'll ensure that you are defining a goal that really has you thinking about the specifics, has you thinking about the metrics, has you thinking about the actions you need to take, the timeline you need to achieve them in, whether or not they're realistic or not. And so find a methodology for defining your goals. But that's going to be the key part for Amy and or for any of you. Now, if you want a template that you can use specifically for yourself, then leave a comment here or DM me and just say to me, share your goal, your goal setting template. And I'll be more than happy to send that to you. All right. Okay. So very simplistically, because I won't get into the whole goal setting methodology. There's a lot of content on Bowl of Fire Coaching as well as online that you can find that. So be sure that at least you're following something. And let me just touch on why I'm asking you to use a methodology is, I would say a good 95% of the goal plans that are provided to me, typically from when clients are onboarding, the first thing I ask them is for their goals. And so I want them exactly the way they're creating them. In this case, I would ask you, put them down on paper exactly the way you think that goal is going to be crafted in the way that you're going to take action on it. But 95% of the time when they're sent to me, they're missing a lot of specifics that are really critical to ensuring that you're committed, ensuring that you bought in, ensuring that they're very clear and they're actionable, which is the most important. A goal without actions is just a dream, right? So we want to make sure that they're very, very actionable. And so that's why you want to follow a methodology and not have them so general, like, I want to lose weight. I want to make a lot of money. I want to advance in my career. I want to become, a VP. That's not a goal. That's a nice wish, a dream, but that's not a goal. So you want to make sure that they're so specific that you know exactly what you need to be doing, when you need to be doing it in order to get there. All right. And that's the key part of Amy's question, actually. So take a look for the Smarty Goal template that's on Bowl Fire Coaching, and/or DM me, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. Okay. So the second one from Carla is my heart kind of went out to her because I know a lot of you are dealing with this and you have been dealing with this. So her situation, I'll call it, is we're back in the office. I'm so overwhelmed as a team leader. I don't know where to start getting my head together, basically organized. It feels different than when we were remote. Now, there was some, obviously major challenges and major shifts that went on in the last few years. Pre 2020, it was business as usual. And, the challenges that a leader dealt with were kind of long-term, quite honestly. They were almost kind of repetitive and legacy type of challenges of what leaders often deal with. Hiring people, keeping people, developing people. Those were the traditional challenges leaders have always had. Then the pandemic hits. And not only does the pandemic hit, but we all of a sudden realize that it is creating a lot of fear. It's creating a lot of stress, anxiety, pretty much just overall mental health challenges for individuals and then the people that they're managing. Let alone add on top of that is everyone's kind of trying to, get their arms wrapped around, how the world has just changed. Then all of a sudden there's no longer forgive me, I have a stray dog that was found jumping out of a car, and we can't find its owner. So I have him in my studio with me. So then, add to the fact that, okay, we can no longer be face to face. We can no longer be working as teams, collaborative, like touch and feel type of teams. We're all going to go remote. And now we have to figure that out. Now, for many of us, like myself, I've been working remote since, 1995. So it wasn't an adjustment for me. However, for the bulk of you, you've had a major adjustment. And your managers, leaders have had a even more, complicated, challenging adjustment made to them. It's very different to be able to walk down the hallway and talk with your team, collaborate with your team, bring them all together, to kind of work on things than it is when all of a sudden everyone's on video screens and you can't physically touch and feel them. So that, that all that time in the last couple of years then was exasperated with the fact that, okay, then people were going back to work. But a lot of your people don't want to go back to work. They don't want to go back into the office. And so there's a kind of a characterization of all of this, and it's called VUCA, VUCA. It's basically, the leadership work environments are volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And that's what leaders are now dealing with, is a volatile environment, a uncertain environment, a complex environment. It's always been complex, but now it's even complex from a people person perspective. At one time it was just people that weren't satisfied with their job. Now it's people are dealing with so much stress and anxiety and mental health issues and challenges that now a leader has to really, really hone in on their people skills, on their soft skills, on empathy and compassion and support, mentoring, coaching in a different way because of the instability of so many people right now. And who knows when that shift will change to where, they're getting the help that they need, the support that they need. And, they're feeling more confident, more empowered, more bold, and therefore more present and engaged. So it's going to be a long haul to address this mental health situation that now is just kind of, it hasn't even seeped into business. It kind of was a tidal wave that was brought into the business environment, whether it's brick and mortar or remote, and leaders have to deal with it. Leaders who were more about the function and the role really need to be so focused on John, Peter, Mary, and Sam. If they need to kind of pull themselves together and structure themselves and their role in such a way where a good percentage of what they're doing each and every day is people focused and not tactical focused. So let me, kind of continue in this situation that Carla is having. And I can't take credit at all for the acronym VUCA, the post-pandemic characterization of everything that's going on from a leadership perspective in business right now, the volatile, uncertainty, complex, and ambiguous. That's actually from the author Peter Hinson and his book, The Phoenix and the Unicorn, which I would definitely recommend to any leader today to really kind of get into just what is it that you're dealing with at work. Yes, somebody comes in a nasty mood, or someone is all of a sudden very closed that used to be very outgoing. Leaders, you have to face that. You have to deal with that. You have to figure a way to support and, help to solve that. And so, the role of the leader right now definitely needs to be heavily focused on people success as much as business success. So, what I told Carla was simply this. First off, take a deep breath. You're not alone. You have the right to feel all this overwhelm and anxiety. It has been tough, and it's even getting tougher as a result of just the post time period. But just take a deep breath. And you need to take a deep breath because you're not going to solve problems. Any of you are not going to solve problems when you're all in your head. When you're anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, unsure, doubtful, negative, there's no way you're going to be able to see the forest between, from the trees. There's just no way because you're, just kind of scrambled yourself. So we need to get you very, very calm, cool, and collected, very logical, very, kind of free from any blockage that you have in your heart or your head, and create that white space for you to then be able to get creative and start problem solving this. All right. So take a deep breath. All right. Now, then I want you to really look at your role. I'm often teased about how I say that, but your role and your goal as a leader. All right. Your role and your goal. And why I have you differentiate that is, again, very much like actually Amy's question about, what goals should she have beyond her business goals. A lot of you as team leaders really just 99% focus on what are those business goals and metrics that you are, you are not only assessed and reviewed on, but it might influence your raise, a bonus, your advancement, and therefore your first inclination, your first motivating driver is to ensure that all the tactical things that need to get done are done, as opposed to kind of flipping it on its head to say, are my people feeling supported? Do my people feel valued? Are my people in a good, in a good space, in a good state of mind, in a good state of being right now? Are my people, being given the tools that they need in order to be the best people they can be, as well as do the best job they can be? So that your role and your goal as a leader, you need to look at to ensure that, do you even have the goals laid out that really talk to making sure that the people element is being focused on? So define look at your role, and then look at what goal you've defined for yourself as a leader. What type of leader do you want to be? Do you want to be a people leader, supportive leader, servant leader? Or do you want to be a bully leader, task-oriented leader, a selfish leader who's only kind of out for themselves? What type of leader do you want to be? And look at which of those is going to get success for everyone, not just for you. Bully leaders and selfish leaders are typically me focused, not necessarily concerned about whether or not their team members achieve their goals, whether or not the business achieves their goals. And the only reason why they'd be concerned about the business achieving their goals is because that helps them achieve their goal. What you really want to be focusing on is, what do I need to be as a leader? What goals do I need to have in order to ensure my people are achieving their goals? Because if they achieve their goals, I'm going to achieve my goals. Okay. It's a hard question or assessment to take of yourself, but it's a very critical one, a very much needed one. Had I done that myself 12 or 15 years ago, I might still be in corporate, elevating as a corporate leader. And yet, because I lacked any concern or empathy or compassion for the people I was managing, and I was only concerned about my own agenda and my own ambitions, I lost a 25-year career. So that was nothing in 2008 compared to what people are dealing with today, yourself as well as your people. Now, I should mention too that your people are dealing with a lot of emotional, mental challenges, but so are you. In most cases, so are you. And so, as they say in the air, in an airplane, put the mask on yourself first, and then help other people. That should be another aspect of what it is when we think about, what type of leader do I want to be? I want to be the type of leader that takes care of myself first, because the best that I am will ensure that I'm the best for my people around me. All right. So Carla totally got that, and kind of went off to do her own inventory and assessment. And if you need any input or any help in regards to doing that, then you can always reach out to me in order to find kind of, how do I go about doing that. You can also schedule some time with me, complimentary time with me, 30 minutes. We'll just get down and dirty. You position what it is you want to talk about, strategize on, get tips and advice on, and I'm going to give them to you before you get off that call, so you can keep moving forward. So be sure to ask. Okay. All right. So we now are looking at, uh, in Carla's case, taking a deep breath, really focusing on your goal as a leader, and what it is that you want to be for yourself and for those around you. And then just engage with your people. Now she has, I want to say she had 6 or 7 people on her team. So many of you have much more than that. Many of you have fewer than that. But whatever it is, then ensure, like, reach out and touch them and ensure that they're being taken care of. They have what they need, and don't accept, yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, yeah, everything's good. Because I get that all the time from my clients who are the leaders. Oh yeah, yeah, everything's good. Okay, so what was the best thing that happened this week? What was the worst thing that happened this week? What are you dealing, what are you doing that's making everything great? I'd love to know. Or what's the underlying, again, want to dig, 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 and not just take the surface answer, as Bible. Although oftentimes, I do say that when you ask a question, and you're given only a couple seconds to think about it, and someone responds very quickly, truth often sits on the surface. But there's also a time when you're getting a shrug, or I don't know, or I'm fine. You need to dig a little deeper to really understand. But the third thing, apart from taking a deep breath and really focusing on what your goal is as a leader, is then to reach out and find out from your people what's going on. How are they feeling? Do they feel supported? Do they feel relevant? Do they feel valued? Do they feel clear and stable about what it is that they're doing? What it is that the company's looking to achieve? Dig, dig, dig. Okay. Now, of course, as you're looking at kind of what you need to be as a team leader, and we're, readjusting the focus to be heavy, heavy, heavy on people, obviously you have some what I'll call tactical work to do. I mean, there's things that you are responsible for doing, even as a team leader. However, let me just emphasize, though, that stuff will get done. You will get it done, your team will get it done, but that stuff will get done. So put all your energy, if you really truly want to be an effective, productive, and successful leader, um, put your energies into ensuring that your people are good and taken care of and feel valued and contributing. Focus there, because it's going to be your people that's going to make you successful. It won't be you alone. It never is. So ensure that once you put the mask on yourself, you're helping them, and you're helping them elevate and be successful, because that will make you successful. All right. And then you can get tactical, you can get organized. In Carla's case, being very overwhelmed, being very frazzled, being very anxious about, how does she navigate and how does she manage in this environment today as a team leader, after she's taking care of the people, through that process, most likely, and I call them the 4Ds, most likely she's even looked at what all of her people are doing and what they're responsible for, and maybe even, stretch goals for them as to maybe new things that they could take on. And so she's all of a sudden looking at hers, because one, she has to offload the tactical if she wants to be able to focus heavy on the people. You have to offload, you have to trust your people. And therefore, I call them the 4Ds. I have her looking at, and I would have you looking at, what on your tactical list can you delegate? What can you delay? What can come off or delete? And then what do you land up needing to do? There's some things you need to do, but in 9 out of 10 cases, I would say a good 80% of what's on your to-do list, you could be delegating, delaying, or deleting. And therefore, if you want to really be that type of team leader that is people focused, you will do everything in your power to ensure your team's good, ensure they have what they need, find out if they do want to be stretched and take on new or, or additional things. And then you as the leader look at the fact that, yep, there's probably things on my list that I can delegate, delete, delay, and then ultimately leave the balance to me having to do. And hopefully that do list is predominantly people focused, development, coaching, mentoring, training, that type of activity. That is what I would hope leaders, have on their to-do list, more so than I have to fill out this report, or I have to make sure that this project, plan gets executed, or finish this contract. Things that probably could get delegated, deleted, or delayed. Okay. So that was exactly what I mentioned to Carla, and I would suggest to all of you as well. We are, I don't even know if I could say, I feel like sometimes we're still at the beginning of the shift of the VUCA, the VUCA, volatile, uncertainty, complex, and ambiguous, that we're dealing with within business, that you're dealing with as a leader in business. And therefore, understanding that this situation, this mental health crisis that we have with our people, they're feeling unstable, uncertain, fearful. It's going to take a while to address, and for everyone to kind of have shaken it off, maybe not forgotten it, but moved on from it. And we're into kind of our new normal. So you as leaders really need to put the focus on your people. All right. All right. So again, that's the only questions that we have for today. If you should have a question or a situation that you're dealing with in your career, in your own business, or in life in some way, shape, or form, and you want some help, then feel free, please, to post it here on this, even post live. So once we're finished here, it'll still be out there, and you can always leave the comments, and I'm always looking for them. You can always DM me on LinkedIn, and also be sure to actually follow me as well on LinkedIn. And then you can always schedule time with me and get 30 minutes of conversation to give you tips and advice, and strategies for keeping moving forward. All right. So whatever you need to do to get the support that you need and you deserve, please reach out and get it. Okay. All right. Those are the only questions that we have. I'm going to take a look one last time and be sure that that's the case. But if okay, yes. So since we don't, then I will see you next Thursday at 1:00, and keep posting. All right. And keep moving forward and creating the riches in your life and work you deserve. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.